Hello, my friends, and welcome to Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. We are playing this game on realistic mode with 1930 start. As an added self-imposed challenge, we are also attempting to use only one vehicle of each vehicle type and never use any vehicles or buildings not included in the early start DLC. Here we have our initial vehicles arriving, one of each type: bulldozer, cement truck, fuel truck, aggregate truck, and an excavator. Our first order of business is to send the fuel truck to fill our fuel station, as the new vehicles will always arrive with minimal amount of fuel in their fuel tanks and require refueling. The map we are playing on is the populated version of the Arabic map that came with the Biomes downloadable content. An added self-imposed challenge regarding this is to never alter, demolish, or improve the pre-existing roads or buildings. Our great socialist republic respects the native people, their architecture and infrastructure, and only seeks to coexist with them and bring socialist prosperity to all. And the great thing about our brand of socialism is the people get to participate and enjoy it without any requirements to vote for it. Here, for an example, we have a native settlement in its natural form. Their accomplishments are great and many. Not all people would have been able to survive in dry and infertile environments such as this, but due to no fault of their own, they have never been able to enjoy the benefits of socialism. We hope to change that for them in the near future. We do not come to them as conquerors who will replace their way of life with our own for the greed of some king. Instead, we come to them as liberators who will elevate their way of life far above what it was for the glory of socialism. Now, our vehicles, and most importantly, the bulldozer, have arrived to their pioneer-spirited construction offices. We are starting with the groundworks of the Republic. With the bulldozer in place, we can select the level terrain height from center function and then proceed to level the ground west of the customs house to the same level with the gravel road. This will be a time-consuming task, but one well worth doing. Future construction will be easier, look better, and most importantly, in our glorious and equal socialist republic. Even the ground upon which our workers will be living on shall be of equal height. For the convenience of video entertainment enjoyer, we will now speed up the video and enjoy Comrade Bulldozer Driver working hard for the benefit of all of us and setting a fine example for all the future workers of the Republic as he tirelessly moves endless tons of sand, enduring searing heat and unfiltered exhaust fumes, but carries on, assured of the fact the work he does is of great importance for the future of our socialist republic. Of course, Comrade Excavator Driver has his role to play in leveling the foundations of our socialist republic. In the spirit of redistributing the knowledge of foundation construction, we will share this tip with you. First, use the bulldozer to level the ground at the same height on 2 spots. After that, you can select the road building tool and drag the road between these 2 spots. If the area between these 2 spots is uneven, the road will show as yellow. Now, right-clicking, assuming you have a free excavator, will send the excavator to level the area to the average between the 2 spots. In some cases, leveling the ground is more efficient like this than using the bulldozer. Now, experience has taught us that your republic should have a connecting railroad network around its industrial and living centers. We certainly are not at the size and scale in which we would need one yet, but we still have to reserve the space for it, which we are currently doing. The living center of our first town will not have need for railroad connection, but we will still run the railroad around it. Locating at the very edge of the map will cause the least amount of trouble for laying the foundation of the living center itself. The time has come to lay down the construction plan of our first city. This procedure will be time-consuming, but the amount of time spent now on planning will pay itself back in city efficiency in the future. Due to our self-imposed limitation on the amount of vehicles, buses and trams included, every service and every place of work for every citizen must be within walking from the citizens' homes. The precise and centrally planned layout of the city is of vast importance, and is a textbook example of the proverb, measure twice, cut once. The first building we have laid down the plans for is the headquarters of the Communist Party. This building will act as our primary university, guaranteeing people get the highest possible education on the benefits of socialism. While under normal circumstances, a technical university would be a vastly better university to start with, as research done in that building will unlock the true potential of many production methods. We, in our special circumstances, cannot benefit from any of it, regardless. The Central Design Bureau has a plan that will guarantee socialist prosperity, even in the middle of infertile desert, with the potential we can unlock using the headquarters of the Communist Party. Another design element of utmost importance for us is guaranteeing easy, fast, and unobstructed delivery of consumer goods and nourishment for our citizens. Our Socialist Design Bureau has a solution for this as well. We will lay down foundations to a provision redistribution center, or a shopping mall, as the capitalists call it, and we will connect it with a warehouse from which the provision redistribution center will draw its produce from. The warehouse itself will be as close to the city limit as possible. In fact, it will be the first building right after the city gates, which will reduce the distance our delivery truck has to drive, when it will pick provisions from the customs house and delivers them to the warehouse, which will then transfer them to the provisions redistribution center for our socialist citizens to enjoy. While playing on realistic difficulty, you have to take care of the distribution of drinking water, providing electricity, and disposing of sewage for your citizens. The final distribution of these three are done with relatively small but extremely important buildings. What they all have in common, however, is their functional radial reach. You can consider all three of these buildings to have circle around them, and all buildings within that circle will have the supply of that specific building covered. As these circles have roughly the same radius on all of these three buildings, by positioning these three buildings next to each other, we can guarantee all these services to all buildings within the radius, which will help us in designing our city in a way it will provide all the necessities equally to every citizen. What follows next is precise placement of the most comfortable apartment complex available in the early start DLC, which will also be able to house the most amount of workers. The apartments will be laid down in precise groups of 4, which will share a waste collection point between them. Setting their location requires great care and accuracy, but once again is well worth doing, as it will pay itself back in the long run. These apartments and their waste collection point will then connect to the main road with a pathway as short as possible to reduce the amount of time our citizens will have to spend walking to their destinations, and the amount of distance our only waste-carrying truck will have to cover between waste collection points. Only this one type of apartment will be used in our republic to guarantee socialist equality for everyone. The city will have all its services located along a main road. On the other side of this main road, there will be endless groups of 4 apartment complexes, all arranged in the same equal and efficient layout. The task ahead of us will be great, but through the power of socialism, our republic shall thrive, and one day. Look back with pride at our collectively glorious pioneer-spirited founding days. We are all eagerly waiting to lay down the first bricks of our republic. But as the saying goes, a task well planned is task half done. And we will certainly be taking our time to plan as efficient layout as possible for our glorious republic. Anything else would go against our Marxist principle of to everyone according to their needs, by everyone according to their capability. Designing our city to a degree anything less than perfection would be us as socialists performing below our capability, and thus betray our glorious socialist principles, which mandates anything less than perfection to be unacceptable.